While I have time today, I wanted to talk about these guys, Montreal Canadiens, and the run they've been on. And while there's no guarantee they're in the playoffs because we're still only 20 games into the season, the fact is, Mark Bergevin, the most beleaguered GM in the league over the summer, I would believe, from the way people have talked about him, every single deal he's touched has suddenly turned around. The only exception would be Subban for Weber, but honestly, at the time that trade was made, I kind of defended it for Montreal. If you don't remember, just look it up on the channel. It's there. So I want to look over the trades he's made from June 15th of 2017 until now. They acquired a 2018 sixth-round pick and Jonathan Drouin for Michael Sergachev and a 2018 conditional second. Now, Drouin has not become the center that they'd envisioned him to be. He's back on the wing. But drafting Kotkaniemi and bringing in Domi turned out to be fantastic for him. So the chemistry's worked. Now, I'm going to say this as well. Sergachev is still going to be an excellent defenseman. He's playing 17 minutes and 21 seconds a game for a Tampa team that doesn't really need him in a prime role. He's learning. He's got 7 assists right now. He's on pace for about 28 to 30 points, which is not the 40 points he had last year, but he's not playing poorly. Sergachev is still going to be an excellent top 4 defenseman, and it is still a steep price that Montreal paid. The difference is what they got back, not too bad. They traded for a third-round pick with Buffalo for Nathan Beaulieu. Beaulieu is kind of a forgotten guy in Buffalo. Montreal, not missing him. They acquired Schlemko from Vegas for a fifth-round pick. Schlemko's been in and out of the lineup. They acquired Kyle Bond from Chicago for Andreas Martinson. That's kind of an if trade, not a big deal there. Nicolas Deslauriers acquired October 4th, 2017 from Buffalo for Zach Redmond. Deslauriers's been a nice, solid bottom 6 guy when he's been in the lineup. They traded Torrey Mitchell on November 23rd, 2017 for a fifth. No harm done there. They acquired Adam Cracknell for Peter Holland. That's a nothing trade. Al Montoya was acquired by the Oilers for a conditional 4th-round pick in 2018. Montoya currently not with the Edmonton Oilers. Yarabik was acquired by the Capitals for a 5th-round pick, and a lot of people thought that Yarabik would take off after he left Montreal, and he didn't. Then they traded on February 25th. Kyle Bond didn't stay as a Canadian. He went to Toronto with Plekanec. They acquired Kirby Reichel, Renat Villiers, and a 2018 second-round pick. You know what? For Plekanec, a guy who's currently retired, a second-round pick isn't bad. Mike Riley of the Canadiens acquired from the Minnesota Wild for a 5th-round pick next year. Harmless. Riley wasn't going anywhere with the Minnesota Wild organization. Riley's fit in better with the Montreal Canadiens. I think he's a 5'6" guy. He's not a top 4, but that's fine. They traded away Joe Morrow to the Jets for a 4th-round pick. I think the Jets are happy with Morrow, and I don't think Morrow was doing a lot in Montreal that they're missing right now. Of course, June 15th, 2018, they traded for Max Domi. They traded away Galchenyuk. Galchenyuk's playing very well for Arizona. He looks very happy, and he looks rejuvenated with the Arizona Coyotes. He's just missed some games with injuries. Max Domi, currently, I believe, the premier of Quebec, or at least mayor of Montreal. He's been fantastic early on. Can he hold up over a full season at that rate? I don't know. But, honestly, at this point, Montreal was kind of just left for dead. And they've proven themselves not to be quite as... rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated, you could say. Montreal acquired Joel Armia, a 7th-round pick in 2019, a 2020 4th-round pick, and Steve Mason for Simone Bourque. Of course, that was because the Jets wanted to get rid of Mason's money so they could sign people. They didn't end up signing Stastny, which makes that awkward. But it's fine because Mason likely wasn't coming back in Winnipeg anyways. They end up getting Brossoit. Mason gets bought out by the Montreal Canadiens, and they get Armia out of it. Armia's been a nice addition. August 20th, they traded Kirby Reichel for Hunter Shinkaruk. Neither of those guys at the NHL level. No harm, no foul. September 10th, they traded Max Pacioretty, who is still trying to find his way with Vegas. He's shown signs that he's picking it up lately, but Tatar has been a revelation for the Montreal Canadiens so far. He is actually right now playing better than he was in Detroit. So for people who said, well, he's a 20-goal scorer, you're wrong. Actually, he's a 30-goal scorer right now. So all of us were wrong. I don't remember anybody saying that all of these things could come together like this. This is something completely different. And I don't want to oversell it, because as of coming into today's action, they're in number 2 wild card. They're not comfortably in a playoff spot, but they're in a much better position right now than was expected. The fact that trading Pacioretty, they also get Nick Suzuki. That was the one thing that at the time I still thought, geez, I don't know about that for Vegas, because, Suzuki projects to be a decent, probably third-line center, maybe even second in the NHL. So it helped center depth for the Montreal Canadiens, and it got something back for that very, very awkward situation they had with Pacioretty. And then 2 recent trades, they acquired Kulak from Calgary. They acquired Olofsson from Minnesota. No harm, no foul there either. Valiev went to Calgary, so that's a name that Bergevin had acquired. I guess the one thing that I'm wondering is, so that, we've all kind of all taken our turns dumping on decisions made by Marc Bergevin. This is something that's happened with Dorian. It's happening with Dorian again right now with Ottawa, and yet Ottawa's doing relatively well. Are we too harsh of critics with general managers? Are we really in an age where there aren't really bad GMs? I don't know, right away it's going to be like Chiarelli. Whatever. Chiarelli did some pretty good things for Boston, and I still think some of his moves, not all, obviously, with Edmonton could end up turning out. Whether or not those work out while he's still employed there is really the question, right? But is Bergevin proof that you can lose patience with a GM early? You look at the Anaheim Ducks when Brian Burke led them there. There was some discussion that while Burke got them that Stanley Cup, a lot of that roster was put together by somebody else. Brian Burke got fired out of Vancouver. That roster he had put together did pretty well for Dave Nonis. He just needed to get a goaltender. So there is something to be said for us criticizing GMs far, far, far too much. And I'd be interested to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Is it smoke and mirrors? At the end of the year, are we looking at Montreal again and going, nope, they fell apart? Or are we looking at the end of the year and saying, maybe Bergevin was doing the right things, maybe we're too harsh with GMs? This is why I've always said about trades and drafts, don't try to find winners and losers right off the bat. Because while I may seem confused and befuddled by moves that get made, I do my best not to judge them at the time they get made, because a GM may see something that I don't. They have pro scouts for a reason. Pro scouts may have seen something and said, hey, we think you should look at this guy for these reasons. We think it'll mesh really well with these guys. And very often they can be right. It's something that I think saved Vegas last year and made them the best expansion team ever. And I think it's something they may have lost sight of over the summer. I think they may have tried to make themselves better and better and better without keeping in mind how well everybody meshed last year with that team, and what the chemistry change would be by moving so many players out and so many new guys in. But, it's a learning curve, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And here's the trick. Which GM are we all talk about how much he doesn't know what he's doing, and a couple of years from now, we'll talk about how he was brilliant. The one that comes to mind for me, how about Ken Holland? You look at that young team Detroit's got put together. This time next year, we could see them in a playoff spot. We could see all these young kids doing really, really well. And we could once again be talking about, oh, Ken Holland's a pretty smart GM. It's amazing what a difference a year makes. Or even in this case, just a few months. Be interested to know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.